Hola, mi amigo, soy Atratzu. I'm not going to try to keep that up because I'm sure my Spanish-speaking friends are already cringing. Why would I start a video by speaking Spanish? Because today we are talking about Guacamelee. Speaking Spanish isn't nearly as good of an intro as my personal favorite intro video I did when I started YouTube back in 2017 and we were reviewing Guacamelee Gold Edition. Feel free to go back in time and watch me trying my best to be like JonTron and the Angry Video Game Nerd. Those were the days. So young and hopeful that I might be able to pay my rent by making YouTube videos. Anyway, after picking up Guacamelee Gold Edition in probably the best Humble Bundle I've ever purchased, the Humble Indie Bundle 11, a few years later, Guacamelee Turbocharged Edition was offered for free on the Humble Store, and I grabbed it. Both Turbocharged and Gold Editions include the Costumes Pack and El Diablo Domain DLC. So here we are again, with my favorite luchador. Guacamelee is a Metroidvania 2D platformer brawler beat-em-up, all mixed together and wrapped with traditional Mexican culture and folklore theming. Guacamelee Turbocharged Edition was developed by DrinkBox Studios and released in 2014, just a year after Guacamelee Gold Edition released in 2013. Guacamelee has been released on Windows, Mac, Linux, PS3, PS4, PS Vita, Wii U, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and the Switch. DrinkBox Studios really took diversify your portfolio to heart, didn't they? But why not? I'm of the opinion that Guacamelee is a classic, being one of the first indies I played, humble bundled along with Dust: An Elysian Tale, Guyana Sisters, Twisted Dreams, The Swapper, Antichamber, Monaco, Fez, Starseed Pilgrim, and Beat Buddy. I never planned to play Guacamelee when I first bought that bundle so many years ago. I was looking to play Beat Buddy, Dust, and Fez. I judged this book by its cover and wasn't interested, and boy was I wrong to do so. I'm glad I got to play it again because it's one of my favorites. Settle back and let's get ready to punch that avocado, shall we? You play as Juan, a humble agave farmer who goes into town and bumps into his childhood friend and love interest, El Presidente's daughter. She has a name, but I don't remember what it is. But just referring to her as El Presidente's daughter makes me think that she's the offspring of the Tropical Game series leader, which, if that's the case, watch out, Juan! Anyway, Juan goes to town, meets El Presidente's daughter. He also ends up confronting the antagonist, Carlos Calaca, a once famous rodeo horseman before he broke his arm and sold his soul to the devil to have his arm healed in time for the rodeo match. But right after he finished the match, the devil dragged him into hell. And now Carlos Calaca is out for blood, performing ceremonies to unite the worlds of the dead and the living to subject everyone under his rule, and only Juan the Luchador can stop him. Guacamelee has two endings. If you've never played Guacamelee before, you'll definitely want to get the true ending by clearing all of the hidden trials. I've become so much more sentimental and emotional as I've gotten older, and the normal ending is just so darn sad for me now. I had to replay the game for the true ending. And also to get some extra achievements. Some things don't change. I'm always trying to get achievements, even if I don't have time to 100% my games anymore. Speaking of which, you can finish the game in about 6 to 8 hours without getting the extra stuff. But the good news is that even if you get the normal ending, you can reload your save and warp around to continue getting all the extra stuff, then refight the final boss for the true ending. For those of you who don't know, Metroidvania refers to games which have the common quality of Metroid and Castlevania, where players collect items and gain new abilities that allow them to explore more of the game world. Metroidvania games often encourage backtracking and exploring new areas after gaining new abilities. Guacamelee is probably the only Metroidvania I've played in recent history, meaning since my first review in 2017 for Guacamelee Gold Edition, unless Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild counts, but I really don't think it does. Yo, comment section! Recommend some good Metroidvania games for me, please. In true Metroidvania style, you start out the game with basic movement, dodge, a punch, and a throw. One of the things I've loved about going back to play Guacamelee for the second time is just how well put together the game is. As you get abilities, each power will correspond to a colored block you can destroy. Not only are these abilities usable to access new paths in the game and secrets, you can also use them for combos in the beat-em-up sections of the game, and they can also be used in the 2D platforming. I don't know if this is worth noting or not, but I had thought that the direction of the new abilities, at least the ones used to break blocks, also closely correspond to the colored buttons on the Xbox controller. It doesn't quite work because the yellow headbutt doesn't have any directional inputs, while the side abilities are blue and the up ability is red. While looking at an Xbox controller, the yellow Y is up, the red B is right, the green A is down, and the blue X is left. So of those colors, only 2 actually line up with the directions you use in the game. But you do always ground slam with the green power and attack to the sides with the blue power. I was just looking for more excuses to praise the thought that went into making the game. Speaking of which, DrinkBox Studios recommends playing with a controller, as do I. However, my first time playing through back in 2017, I played through the whole game with a keyboard, and even beat the game on the hardest difficulty using keyboard controls. And why? It was about making a statement. And I also didn't want to buy a controller. Been trying to save money since day one. Not every ability you get will be very useful for combat, but you will need and use every ability. You'll get them from busting up Chuzo statues, which is a direct reference to Metroid's Chozo statues. And then you get heckled by an angry goat man. Every Chuzo statue is a highlight for me, not only because I've now got a new move, but I also get to hear this cranky old goat whine about how I'm destroying his stuff. The fact that Juan is a silent protagonist just adds to the amusement of everyone yelling at him when he's literally never spoken a word to them.
What? You crazy luchador? Why you gotta break my Chuzo statue? Ay caramba, man. I've got like 15 of those things left. I'll just have to ask your mother out after we save the world. Dude, seriously, stop breaking my stuff. Now get going before I find your mother. Holy guacamole! Dude, why you gotta break my Chuzo statue perch? That was my perch, man.
From start to end, you're getting new abilities, beating up enemies for coins, which can be used to purchase new skills, costumes, and power-ups for your health, energy, and intenso. You'll often have the chance to detour from the main mission to work on a quest or parkour your way using abilities you've unlocked to get chests with power-ups. The style and music have held up well over these years and will continue to hold up well for years to come, be it year 2017, 2024, or 2050. Just like I enjoy going back to old Nintendo Entertainment System 2D stylized video games, so too will Guacamelee remain timeless. As DrinkBox Studio continues to release the game on every console known to man. Again, I'm not even judging. That's good for them, and it's good for anyone who wants to play the game. But if you want the best deals, wait for sales on Steam. I've tried very hard to cover everything I can about Guacamelee without spoiling anything. There are references throughout the game to other popular game franchises, Legend of Zelda, Super Mario, Castle Crashers, and even Homestar Runner. This will always be one of my most cherished screenshots. How many of you can say you have Strong Bad in your screenshots folder?
Dear Strong Bad, how do you type with boxing gloves on? Your friend Kyle from Murfreesboro.
I noticed the game was more difficult on co-op. When I got stuck, my wife dropped out and I would beat the section on my own. I think when you're playing with more people, you have more drawbacks, because the screen is more chaotic, you don't hit as hard, and enemies move more randomly. But as long as someone stays alive to revive the others, it can also be an advantage. Speaking of difficulty, I feel like Guacamelee is perfectly balanced in its challenging aspects. Much like the rest of the game, there's a threshold of backtracking you'll want to deal with, but there's tons of checkpoints, so you can get around pretty quickly. There are some beat-em-up sections I'd get stuck on, but I'd eventually get through, and if I didn't, I could always backtrack to get more health or skills, and come back and beat 'em up properly. Even the final boss, which killed me many times, I learned the tells of which attack was coming next, just like you would with Monster Hunter, Mega Man, or other fighting games. I just never felt like the game overstayed its welcome. It balanced so many qualities in such an excellent way. I have nothing but positivity to say about the game. Let's take a side step and talk about some stuff I didn't cover as much in my 2017 review. There were 2 DLC releases for Guacamelee, and you just get them included with either Gold or Super Turbo Edition. You can and will miss the El Diablo Domain Challenge area unless you go out of your way to explore alternative paths and stop chasing after the primary objective. For the El Diablo's Domain DLC, it pushed me to my limits playing Guacamelee. You'll earn bronze, silver, or gold medals for each challenge, depending on how well you do. You'll get these medals to unlock special costumes which give you new abilities. Again, this is all completely optional and not required to play if you do not want to. The other DLC is just a costume pack, which gives you some options to buy costumes, which can give you new ability options. But the drawback is you can only wear one costume at a time. I rarely found myself needing or wanting to use any costumes, though. Now then, let's talk about a common thread for all Guacamelee 1 editions. My beloved boy, Poncho. There's a number of different quests you can pick up throughout Guacamelee. One of the most fun quest lines has been to go to the Combo Chicken, where you'll learn some really awesome combinations, which you'll forget and never use again as you play the game. But your sparring partner during these lessons with the Combo Chicken will be this strapping young lad, Poncho. I love Poncho. He's hilarious, and he speaks about as much as our protagonist Juan does. The whole questline showcases the humor in Guacamelee. It's so over the top you can't help but smile. You can't knock out all of Combo Chicken and Poncho's related quests in one fell swoop, because you need to keep going back when you get new power abilities. But coupled with the El Diablo's Domain DLC, you'll leave Guacamelee an expert at the game, from knowing combo attacks, timing dodges, to timing your attacks and throws. By the time I was done playing Guacamelee last time, I felt like I was in a zen flow on everything but the most challenging bosses and levels. As a filthy casual, it felt really good to feel like I was actually good at a game for a change. Lastly, let's go over what's new in
Guacamelee Super Turbo Championship Edition.
Other than the fact that it has a ridiculously long title. I was Atratzu the Insane on World of Warcraft, but if we're competing with titles, DrinkBox Studios, I've got a whole page full of online titles I've unlocked over the years across many video games. I am Atratzu, Chief Warlock of the Brothers of Darkness, Lord of the 13 Hells, Master of the Bones, Emperor of the Black, Lord of the Undead, and the mayor of a lovely little village up the coast. Any of you read the Looking for Group comics? Anyone? Anyone? No one? Just me? Okay. I'm old, I get it. There are 2 new areas, Canal de las Flores and Pico de Gallo. New areas are nice. Didn't change my opinion on the game. It's a bit jarring to be playing a game being like, oh yeah, I remember this part. And then they'll hit you with one of the new changes and you're like, hold on, no, this is new. There are 2 new abilities, El Intenso and Polio Bomba. You'll unlock Intenso just playing through the game normally. Intenso doubles your damage, and you can further upgrade it to provide health regeneration. And you can also upgrade Intenso to break any shield in one punch! You fill your Intenso gauge by pulling off combos. You get higher combos by not getting hit and smacking around enemies. You also get a new boss, Trio de la Muerte. I don't know why a new boss was added, but it's 3 skeletons stitched together. They're a band trying to bring back their 4th member, Pedro. They're quirky weirdos and might be competition with Poncho for being my new favorite character in Guacamelee. They're completely extra, but I love them. And you can now play 4-player for complete and total chaos. It was crazy enough trying to play cooperatively, but now you can drag along 2 more friends for party night. Honestly, Guacamelee Vanilla, Guacamelee with the DLC, Guacamelee Gold, Guacamelee Super Duper Charge Challenge Cargo Pockets Edition, it doesn't matter. The latest version of the game will always have the most stuff, but play whichever version you want, because the base game is what makes Guacamelee endearing. Ay, Dios mío, what a game. Guacamelee is a great game. I cannot recommend it enough to really anyone. It's the extra stuff you get from this version of the game is nice, but mostly peripheral. What makes Guacamelee excellent is the style, the theming, the colorful world, the music, the humor, the charm, the quirkiness, satisfying controls, platforming, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. The story of Guacamelee is simple yet compelling. It's just save the love interest. There's no voice acting, but there doesn't need to be. DrinkBox Studio truly mastered conveying emotion and storytelling with brevity, something I wish I could learn. The gameplay is smooth, seamless, and responsive. I had no problems and never blamed the game for anything which happened to me in the beat-em-up sections or the platforming puzzle sections. If I fell down a pit, the game quickly reset my location and I ran it again. Even if you die and need to restart a section, you don't lose a crazy amount of progress. I genuinely hope you give Guacamelee a try if you've never played it before. It's been out for a long time, so you can pick it up on sale on Steam pretty easily. If you played it, let me know what you think of the review. Did I miss anything? Other than needing more lessons on Duolingo so my Spanglish isn't so bad. Have you seen my old review? This one is a trip. It took a whole month to make, as opposed to my current format, which only takes a week or so. Thanks for watching. Make sure you follow me on all the social medias. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I upload kind of randomly, so put on all notifications. Might be a smart idea. Or follow on social media. That's why I have them. As always, my name is Atratzu. See you in the next review. Thank you for watching. Adios, amigos.